born to kill serpents, so the Hargroves used me as their perfect shield. In my past life, I entered their cursed hall for Callum, the man I loved. But when the Serpent Gate opened, he chose Jenna, locked the door, and left me to be devoured. Death gave me one chance to return. I traded my beauty for silver sight, and woke up with a scar no man was supposed to love. But I did not come back for love. I came back to watch Callum's devotion rot, expose Jenna's snake magic, and let the serpents choose their real prey. My name's Rowena Whitmore. In my past life, I loved Callum Hargrave so much that it cost me everything. I knew exactly what Hargrave Hall was, a century-old estate built over a sealed serpent gate, rotting from the inside out with ancient venom. I still walked in, for him. Whitmoster blood ran through my veins, and that blood was born to suppress serpents. So when the curse came for Callum, I threw myself in its path and let the poison tear through me instead. What I did not know, what I never saw coming, was that he and Jenna had already decided how my story would end. The venom spread through my body like fire through dry wood. My flesh began to rot from the inside. I still remember every second of that night, the freezing rain, the iron door, and my bloody hands clawing at the gap in the frame.
Callum, please, just open the door.
My nails split down to the quick. Blood smeared the cracks. Still nothing. Then his voice came through, flat and cold, without even a flicker of hesitation.
Shut up. Your screaming is scaring Jenna. I'm not opening this door. You're useful in there, so stay there. Keep those monster snakes inside, even if they eat you alive.
From the other side of the door, I could hear Jenna crying softly. Then came Callum's voice again, low and gentle, saying things he had never once said to me.
You're safe. I've got you. Nothing is going to touch you, I promise.
The lock turned. I will never forget that sound. Callum had one arm around Jenna as he sealed me inside. He left me there to die in the dark, surrounded by serpents, and he never looked back. The pain was beyond anything I had words for. It felt like I was being torn apart from the inside out, piece by piece, until even screaming became impossible. When I died, I drifted in silver light, endless, cold, and silent. There was nothing left of me but a thin thread of soul, too broken even to cry. Then a voice fell through the dark like a blade through silk, clear, ancient, and completely without warmth.
Child of Whitmore, you died badly. What I offer is not mercy. It is a contract. Give me something, and I will give you what you want.
I'll give up my face, my beauty in this life, all of it. In exchange, I want the Lunar Hunt Covenant, the Silver Sight, and one more life.
Do you understand what it means to give up your face?
I do. Last time, my beauty made it easy for them to use me. I don't need anyone to love my face. I just need to see clearly. Silver light crapped through me like lightning, and I was thrown back into the world of the living. When I opened my eyes, the hissing was gone. The air smelled of incense. I raised a hand to my face and felt it. A scar across my cheek, faint silver light pulsing beneath it like a wire. It was the mark of the covenant, the price Artemis had carved into my skin. I was back. Back to the morning Eleanor Hargrave came to beg. I stood in front of the mirror and traced the scar with my fingers. Then I smiled, but there was nothing warm left in it. I did not come back to love him. I came back from hell to collect what they owed me, one debt at a time.
Rowena, please. I'm begging you. You have to save Callum.
The old woman dropped to her knees in front of me, clutching the hem of my dress with both hands and crying like she had nothing left. The death mark carved into Callum's forehead was the final outbreak of decades of serpent resentment buried beneath the Hargrove state. As long as it stayed on him, the curse would keep spreading, and every Hargrove tied to this land by blood would carry the same death sentence. Only a Whitmore could even see the mark. Only a Whitmore could remove it. They needed me. That was a fact. But the only reason I was here was to take back what the Hargroves stole from us, the silver arrow of Whitmore. I stood over Eleanor, looking down at her shaking shoulders, and all I could think of was how she used to call me sweetheart while she watched the flames swallow me alive. I slowly pulled my skirt out of her grip. I can't break the Hargrove curse. There was not a single trace of emotion in my voice. I did not owe her that much. Eleanor nor froze. The invitation in her hands crumbled at the edges. Then Callum walked in from the hallway. He was younger than I remembered, sharper and more arrogant, with all that ugly pride still sitting right on the surface. His eyes swept over me and stopped on the scar crossing my face. For 1 second, he went still. The scar was silver, winding across half my cheek and glowing faintly in the morning light. It did not look like an ordinary wound. It looked like something ancient had pressed itself into my skin and left its mark there. His disgust was almost impossible to miss. He turned his face away slightly, like he could barely stand to look at it. I noticed. I said nothing. In my past life, I had walked through this same door with an untouched face, and he had smiled at me so beautifully. Every warm word had been perfectly calculated. Now that I had a scar, the mask slipped at once. That told me everything. He did not need a person. He needed a tool, and apparently he preferred his tools pretty. Callum stepped closer, his voice sharp with disbelief.
What the hell is that supposed to mean? We came here in good faith, and you won't even give us a reason? You're telling me one curse is too much for a Whitmore?
He moved into my space like he was used to people backing down when he did. I only looked at him. Go ahead. Look down on me, Callum. You have no idea that the mark on your forehead is getting darker every day. And the only person in this entire world who can see it, the only one who can take it off you, is standing right in front of you while you make that face at her. Eleanor started crying harder. Her hands shook as she pulled a heavy envelope from her coat. The wax seal bore an old dark gold crest.
We have nowhere else to turn. Please, just look at this. For the sake of what our families once meant to each other.
I almost did not bother. But the moment my eyes touched the seal, my silver sight flared. A pulse of silver light cut through the surface of the wax, and beneath it, clear and unmistakable, was the trace of a Whitmore silver arrow. The silver arrow was the most sacred relic of the Whitmore bloodline. The Hargroves had stolen it from us, and it had been lost for generations. I only learned the truth as I was dying in my past life, when it was already too late to do anything about it. Now I knew exactly where it was. That was the real reason I would walk into Hargrove Hall. Not Callum, the arrow. Callum saw me take it, and his whole body relaxed. He lifted his chin slightly, satisfaction spreading across his face. He had already decided I was still hung up on him, that I had finally given in because of old feelings. Then he turned on that warm, reasonable voice, the one that used to make me believe every word.
Good. All you have to do is come with us and suppress the curse. Once I'm better, I'll make sure you're rewarded. The Hargroves take care of people who prove useful to us.
He said it like he was doing me a favor, like I was something he could summon, use, and dismiss whenever it suited him. I looked at him slowly, the way you look at something that does not know it is already finished. I'm going to Hog Hall to take back what belongs to the Whitmore family. I was never doing this for you. The smile on his face died completely. The next morning, the man had everything packed before I came downstairs.
Lady, the carriages are here.
He was the boy the Whitmore family had taken in years ago. Quiet, precise, and so still that most people mistook him for cold. Since I came back, he was the only person who looked straight at the scar on my face without flinching or glancing away. 2 Harkren carriages were waiting outside. Eleanor had one to herself, and the other was meant for Callum and me. Jenna, who supposedly could not handle the mountain road, was supposed to have her own space. I was about to step into the second carriage when a voice cut across the courtyard.
Wait! Callum, I want to ride with you!
She ran toward us with her skirts gathered in both hands, her cheeks flushed and her eyes red at the rims, as if she had already been crying. She was the girl the Hargroves had taken in years ago, the orphaned daughter of some distant relation. She had grown up inside the estate walls, right beside Callum. Everyone said she was sweet and innocent, the one person Callum protected more than anyone else. She had a white silk scarf in her hands. Before Callum could answer, she was already looping it around his neck and smoothing it down with both palms. The mountain road is freezing. I don't want you getting sick again. Callum did not move away from her hands. In my past life, I thought she was only being kind. This time, my silver sight caught the edge of the scarf the moment it touched him. Faint dark lines were woven into the silk, forming the exact pattern of a serpent mark. Callum did not see any of it. He was already brushing a loose strand of hair away from Jenna's face. Jenna turned to me with wide, apologetic eyes. Lady Rowena, I hope you don't mind. I won't take up much space, I promise. She did not wait for my answer. She climbed in ahead of me. I watched her settle beside Callan and push me toward the window seat without even looking at me. I said nothing. Jenna, last time I missed every move you made. This time I'm gonna watch every single one. The carriage wound its way up the wet cobblestone road towards the Hargraff estate. There was barely enough room for 2 people to sit comfortably, and Jenna had made sure she stayed pressed against Callum for the entire ride. Every time the wheels hit a rough patch, she let out a soft, breathy sound and leaned into his shoulder. The timing was perfect, always within my line of sight, like a little performance stage just for me.
Callum, I feel so dizzy. I can barely breathe.
She twisted her fingers into the front of his shirt, lifting her eyes just enough to catch the light. looking soft and helpless and miserable. In my past life, watching this would have made me want to shrink into myself and disappear. Now I only sat still and watched her work. Callum noticed me looking. His expression hardened at once. He tightened his arm around Jenna and turned his face away from me, like even the air on my side of the carriage disgusted him.
Rowena, stop staring. Jenna is kind and gentle, not that you would know anything about that. And stop using that face to scare her.
Jenna reached over and touched his arm gently.
Callum, don't. Lady Rowena probably doesn't mean it.
She knows exactly what she's doing. She's had it out for you since the moment she saw you.
Maybe she just doesn't like me. It's all right, I'm used to it.
That is her problem, not yours. I don't care what she thinks.
I did not answer. In my past life, that exchange would have hollowed me out for days. Now I only filed it away, every word, every dismissal. I was keeping track. At the same time, through the silver sight, I could see what was really happening. Dark energy was seeping from the coral bracelet on Jenna's wrist, winding along Callum's collar and pushing inch by inch into the skin at the back of his neck. She was not dizzy. She was feeding the serpent. Callum, the sweet innocent girl you're so desperate to protect, is poisoning you right now, and you're holding her tighter. He pulled her closer and pressed his cheek against the top of her head, completely blind. By midday, the carriages stopped in front of the Hargrith family's main residence. This was not Hargrith Hall, not the old estate with the serpent gate buried beneath it. The hall stood deeper inside the grounds, behind a locked inner courtyard that almost never opened. This was only where the family lived. When Jenna stepped down from the carriage, she grabbed the door frame, her face going pale, and sagged into Callum's side.
I'm fine. Just cold. My legs feel strange.
Callum wrapped an arm around her at once. The look he sent me over her shoulder made it clear that somehow this was supposed to be my fault. We passed through the front entrance hall. The moment we crossed the threshold, my silver sight erupted. Dark serpent energy crawled across every wall and ceiling, coiling and shifting like something alive. It hulged at anyone with Hargrab blood, then recoiled the second it touched the silver light of my mark, shrieking back into the cracks. Jenna was walking ahead. I watched her cross the threshold, and I saw the exact moment her shoe came down on the protection line hidden beneath the door frame. It was not an accident. The movement was too precise. The line snapped. The energy that had been held down broke loose all at once, and a wave of freezing air tore down the corridor like a blade. She stumbled backwards straight into his arms, clean and practiced, like a stage fall. Callum caught her without even looking. One arm locked across her chest, and his first words were for me.
Rowena! What the hell are you doing just standing there? You're a Whitmore! You're supposed to handle this! If Jenna gets hurt because of you, I swear you'll answer for it.
I raised one hand, a silver seal dropped across the corridor, and the serpent energy shrank back into the walls. The hallway went still. I looked at Callum.
You're welcome.
I let the silence stretch for a moment. Then I lowered my gaze to the broken line on the floor, before slowly lifting my eyes to Jenna's shoes.
You might want to ask how that line broke in the first place.
Callum's brow tightened. In his arms, Jenna's eyes filled with tears at once. Her lower lip trembled as she looked up at him, as if she was the one being attacked. Callum looked between us and clenched his jaw.
What exactly are you accusing her of?
Nothing. Just giving you advice. While you're in this house, pay attention to what's right in front of you.
Then I walked toward the sitting room without looking back. When we settled into the sitting room, Eleanor came in herself with a tray of peach blossom tea. Steam curled slowly from each cup.
You must be exhausted after that ride, sweetheart. I made this myself. Drink it while it's hot. It will calm your nerves.
She had the warmth turned all the way on. Deep smile lines, a gentle voice, every inch the loving grandmother. Jenna sat beside Callum. She picked up his cup first, blew on it softly, and placed it in his hands.
Drink it while it's hot. It'll warm you up.
In my past life, I fell for all of it. I drank the tea, and by nightfall, my silver sight was almost blind. The poison had worked slowly and silently the whole time. When I tried to suppress the serpents that night, I kept making the wrong calls, and one of them tore my palm open. I burned with fever for 3 days straight. And Jenna had been there the entire time, smiling sweetly as she added a spoonful of sugar to my cup.
Something sweet makes everything less bitter, Lady Rowena.
This time, I looked into my cup through the silver sight. The tea should have been pale amber, but beneath the surface it was deep crimson. Something small and dark moved along the bottom. I picked up the cup and drank most of it. I let none of it touch me. Under the cover of my sleeve, I pressed 2 fingers to my wrist and sealed my throat and chest with a silver seal. The poison slammed into the barrier and thrashed like a trapped thing, but it got nowhere. Jenna kept her eyes on my face the whole time. She was waiting for my gaze to blur, waiting for the sight to go dark. When I set the cup down, breathing evenly and looking straight back at her, I saw the corner of her smile crack. Just a twitch. Just 1 second. But it was there. Lucian picked up his own cup, gave it one slow sniff, then turned and poured the whole thing into the planter beside his chair.
Too sweet. Hides the taste of rot.
Eleanor's expression flickered. Calatin's eyes sharpened.
My grandmother made that tea herself. You want to explain what the hell you're doing?
I just did.
Lucian looked at him calmly. Callum's face turned ugly. He was about to snap back when Jenna laid a hand on his arm.
Callum, don't. We asked them to come here. It's fine, really.
She said it in that soft, peacemaking voice. But as she lifted her own cup back to her lips, her eyes slid sideways to me, patient, calculating, waiting to see something that was never going to happen. I looked at her and said nothing. Jenna, I'm just getting started. Next time, I'll make sure you see it coming. The welcome dinner that night was exactly the kind of show the Hargroves loved to put on. Candles stretched down the table, silver gleamed at every place setting, and there was more food than anyone could finish. Jenna sat to Callum's left, cutting her food with careful, effortless grace. Then she set down her knife, turned to me, and spoke in the softest, most concerned voice she had.
Ladies, Rowena, I've been meaning to ask you something. With a scar like that on your face, do people avoid you when you go out? You must feel so lonely. I can't even imagine.
Perfectly worded, perfectly gentle, loud enough for every servant in the room to hear. I held my knife and fork and did not respond.
Jenna, don't say it like that. She's a guest, you'll embarrass her.
In my past life, I had actually been grateful for that. I thought he was standing up for me. Now I could see it clearly. He did not care whether I was humiliated. He just needed me to walk into that hall tomorrow night, and a scene at dinner would make things harder. That sentence was for him, not for me. Jenna's face crumpled at once. Her eyes filled.
I didn't mean it that way. I was worried about her. Callum, why are you making it sound like I did something wrong?
Her voice broke on the last word. 2 tears slipped down her face. And just like that, Callum changed. The hardness left him, and his voice turned low and gentle.
I know you didn't. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said it like that.
Lucian set down his silverware.
I have a question. Is this how the Hargroves treat guests they begged for help?
Every sound at the table stopped. Jenna's tears paused mid-fall. Callum's head snapped up, and the look he gave Lucian was full of real anger.
Who the hell do you think you are? Nobody asked for your opinion.
Lucian did not move. He only held Callum's gaze and took his time answering.
I came with Lady Whitmore. As long as she is here, I have every right to speak.
Callum pressed one hand flat against the edge of the table. His jaw tightened, and his face went pale with fury.
Rowena, control your people.
I set my wine glass down slowly and looked at him. He's right. Callum, I came because your family begged me to save you. I did not come here to be insulted at your dinner table. If you can't understand the difference, I don't need to enter that hall tomorrow. I can leave tonight. Silence fell over the room. Then Callum exhaled through his nose, forced down his anger, and ground out the words like they hurt.
After dinner, I'll have Chester bring out the legacy book.
I picked up my wine glass again and said nothing. Dinner ended, and I asked for the Hargrove legacy book, the family's handprint record dating back to 1840. It dorded how the Serpent Gate was first sealed and why. If the silver arrow was hidden somewhere on these grounds, there would be a trace of it in those pages. Callum's face tightened at once.
It's a dusty old record book. You're here to deal with the curse, not dig through our family history.
If I'm going to suppress what's down there, I need to know what caused it. The answer is in that book. Is that too hard for you to understand? He opened his mouth to argue, and Jenna let out a sharp little cry. Her elbow caught the wine bottle at the edge of the table. It tipped over and spilled half its contents across the tablecloth in a dark red wave. Servants rushed forward, and the moment broke apart.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry my hands are so shaky tonight.
Callum leaned over and took her hands in his, checking them with a deep frown.
You didn't cut yourself. It's just a bottle. It doesn't matter.
Then he looked at me sideways, contempt clear in his eyes.
All this over one old book? Did you really have to push that hard and scare her like that? What is this, an interrogation?
I was not looking at him. Through the silver sight, I watched dark serpent energy pour from Jenna's sleeve and curl around the cabinet where the legacy book was kept like a hand pressing the doors shut. She had not dropped the bottle because her hands were unsteady. She had dropped it to keep that cabinet closed. I raised one hand. A silver seal shot across the room and pinned the serpent energy flat against the cabinet doors. Jenna went white. Lucian walked to the cabinet, opened it without asking, and looked calmly at Chester in the corner.
Chester, bring out the legacy book.
Chester hesitated. Then he lowered his head, took the yellowed leather volume wooden box inside the cabinet, and held it out with both hands. I took it and opened it. I caught sight of the Serpent brand running along the edge of Chester's sleeve. I filed it away. The first several pages of the legacy book had been cut out. Clean cuts, blade cuts, nothing old about them. Callum glanced over and dismissed it without missing a beat.
It's a 150-year-old book. Pages go missing. That's not suspicious. That's time.
Jenna stepped in right on cue.
Exactly. Lady Rowena, the Hargroves have been a respectable family for generations. There's nothing to hide here. Don't you think you're reading too much into this?
I ignored them both and bent over the torn edges, looking through the silver sight. There it was, buried in the yellowed fringe, the faint silver glow of dried Whitmore blood, ancient and thin. Tangled through it was the serpent energy from the bracelet on Jenna's wrist, the exact same signature. She was the one who had cut out those pages, which meant she had known about the silver arrow all along. I was about to speak when the death mark on Callum's forehead split open. Serpent energy burst through his veins all at once, and the whole study shook. From deep inside Hargrove Hall came a low, grinding sound, like something massive turning in its sleep. Callum's legs buckled. He caught the edge of a shelf, his face white, his teeth clenched, his breath coming in sharp pulls. Eleanor rushed across the room and grabbed my arm.
Rowena, please, go tonight. You're the only one who can stop it. Please.
I closed the legacy book. I'll enter Hargrove Hall tonight, but I'm going to question the serpent, not break the curse. Get that straight now. Then I turned to Jenna. My voice stayed calm, but every person in the room heard me. One more thing. During the ritual tonight, Jenna does not come anywhere near the main hall. Her energy is corrupt. If she gets close, she'll provoke what's down there, and the entire formation will collapse. This is not a request. It's a condition. The study went completely silent. Jenna blinked. Then her head lowered, and tears rolled down her face without a sound. Callum pushed himself up from the shelf, still pale and tight with pain, and turned on me at once.
On what grounds? Jenna came all this way because she was worried about me. You don't get to throw her out in the cold just because you hate her!
On the grounds that if I walk in tonight, you live.
Callum stayed quiet, but it was not over. He steadied himself against the shelf and started again a few seconds later.
Even if you have to enter the hall tonight, that does not give you the right to leave Jenna outside alone. She scares easily. What if something happens and you are not there? Are you going to take responsibility for that?
Jenna's tears fell faster, but she still reached out and grabbed Callum's sleeve with both hands.
Callum, please don't fight with Lady Rowena. This is my fault. I shouldn't have come. You go in and let her do what she needs to do. Don't worry about me. I'll wait outside. I just want you safe. That's all I want.
Every word landed exactly where she wanted it to. Callum's chest rose and fell hard. Then he turned all that anger on me.
You hear that? She's willing to stand out there alone in the dark just to make things easier for you. What kind of person are you? Jenna stays by the door tonight. No one is stopping her.
I looked at them without anger. I was not even surprised. This was the same performance they had put on in my past life. Jenna cried, Callum exploded, and every bit of blame in the room landed on me while they clung to each other. Perfectly timed. Perfectly practiced. I turned toward Hargrove Hall and spoke without looking back. Fine. Then keep your eyes open tonight. Whatever happens, don't come crying to me. Behind me, I heard Callan murmur to Jenna.
You're okay. I'm right here.
I walked into the dark of Hargmite Hall without turning around. I already knew he would open that door for her when the time came. And the harder he fought to protect her tonight, the worse the backlash would hit him. Midnight. The main hall of Hargrave Hall. The wind howled through the walls like something was trying to claw its way out. The old chandelier swung overhead, its candles throwing long, crooked shadows across the room. The estate had gone still, except for the dull shiver that rolled up from beneath the floor every few minutes. Whatever had been sleeping down there was starting to wake. I stood in the center of the hall and focused. Whitmore blood ignited in my veins. Silver seals poured out of me in rings, spreading across the floor like a net of cold light, pressing the serpent energy back into the walls and stone. Building a formation like this burned through everything I had. Power, focus, and sheer will, but I did not let it show. My hands were steady. My face was calm. Callum stood on the far side of the formation, supported by the old butler. The death mark on his forehead pulsed blood red in the silver light. He was shaking, yet he still looked at me like he was doing me a favor by letting me help.
How sure are you about this?
I did not look at him. Sure enough. A pause.
I need more than questions. I need the death mark gone completely. Can you actually do that?
I turned and looked at him properly for the first time.
Callum, the only reason I'm standing in this room is because the silver arrow is here.
Not because of you. Whether that mark comes off at all depends on whether the Hargroves start paying what they owe the Whitmans. We can discuss that later. He wanted to argue. Then the death mark tore at him again, and the sound that left his throat was not one he meant to make. He swallowed it down hard. Palm up, catch the light from the core of the formation. Whatever you hear, whatever you see, do not move. This creature follows Hargrove blood. If you move, the backlash will bury you and I will not be able to pull you out. Callum raised his trembling right hand. This time, he said nothing. The last seal fell into place. The stone floor cracked with a deep, grinding boom that rose through the soles of my feet. The eternal flame in its copper lamp guttled until it was almost gone, and the temperature dropped. So fast it felt like the walls themselves were breathing out ice. The floor began to shake in small, rapid tremors. White mist bled up through the cracks, spreading low and thick across the ground, catching the faint silver light of my formation. Then, from the center of the mist, she came. Althea. 1,000-year-old serpent, white as bone, as large as a river dragon, with golden slit eyes burning in the dark like two cold fires.
Decades of rage, grief, and imprisonment moved through the air around her, like a physical force. The servants screamed. Eleanor collapsed to her knees. Callum made a sound he probably did not mean to make, as the death mark nearly tore itself open under the pressure of her presence. But when those golden eyes swept across the hall and found me, they stopped. She recognized something. The covenant. The silver light around me. Something older than her rage. Althea went still in a way she had not been still in years. Then she lowered her slowly, all the way to my feet. A low, grieving sound came from her throat, like a creature finally standing before the person it had been waiting for. No one in the room could speak. Callum's breathing was loud, raggled, and stunned. He had spent his whole life under the shadow of what she had done to his family. He had never expected to see her bow. I crouched and touched her scales. They were cold, smooth, and faintly luminous. Althea, I need to ask you something. The silver arrow, the one taken from the Whitmore family 100 years ago and brought into this estate. Where is it? Her whole body convulsed. She reared halfway up, her great tail striking the stone floor, as she pointed deeper into the estate. Somewhere farther in. One more step. One answer. That was all it would have taken. That was when the screaming started outside the hall doors.
Callum! Callum, help me! It's going to eat me! Please!
Every note was perfectly pitched. Every word landed right at the weakest seam of the ritual. I did not move, but Althea's head snapped up, and her golden eyes flooded red. I turned to Callum. Do you remember what I told you earlier tonight? His hand had already curled into a fist. Something broke behind his eyes when he heard Jenna's voice. He stared at the door, throat working, and then he ran.
Callum!
That's Jenna! I don't care!
He threw the doors open. Jenna crashed into him from the other side, shaking, soaked with tears, and buried her face in his chest.
I was so scared. I just wanted to make sure you were okay. I needed to see you. That thing is terrifying, Callum. I couldn't stay out there.
The second her foot crossed the threshold, serpent energy burst free from her coral bracelet. It came in a dark, thick wave, carrying a resonance that matched Althesa's imprisoned resentment.
Frequency for frequency. A signal going both ways. Althea felt it. The red in her eyes deepened. Her scales lifted all across her body as she rose higher.
And the sound she made was no longer grief.
I stood still with my hands behind my back. In my past life, I had thrown myself in front of that rage. I took all of it so they would not have to. Afterward, I burned with fever for 3 days and nearly died twice before the fever broke.
When I woke up, Callum stood beside my bed with Jenna at his side and said,
She needs me more than you do. You're tough. You'll be fine on your own.
This time, I breathed out slowly and quietly, and I let it happen. Althema hit them like a wave, smashing into a wall. The formation shattered. The eternal flame died. The silver seals cracked all at once, with a sound like breaking ice.
And the core of the ritual collapsed. The whole hall convulsed. Callum was thrown backward, and slammed into the offering table hard enough to knock it over.
He hit the ground, coughing blood. Jenna went down beside him, white-faced, with blood at the corner of her mouth. The ground shook. Serpent heeks rose from every crack in the stone, growing louder and closer. If the formation stayed broken, the serpents under the estate would come up through the floor. Everyone in this house would die.
That included me and Lucian. I pressed my fingers together, like a blade, and cut across my own palm. Silver blood fell onto the extinguished flame. The fire came back like an explosion. 3 feet of silver flame roared up from the lamp, flooding the hall in cold light. Althema hit that light and went rigid. The red drained from her eyes. She lowered herself to the floor, pressed her head against my feet, and went still, breathing slow and deep, like something finally put to rest. The hall went quiet. Then Callium dragged himself up from the floor with one arm around Jenna. He looked across the ruined hall at me, standing in the silver light with blood still running down my wrist. For one moment, he just stared. Then he opened his mouth.
Rowena! You could control that thing the whole time! So why the hell did you just stand there and let it go after Jenna? What is wrong with you? What sick game are you playing?
He said it like he was the victim. Like he was not the one who had opened that door, after a direct warning. Like I was not standing in front of him, bleeding to hold the ritual together. I looked down at my palm. The silver blood was already slowing. I did not answer him, in Callum's arms, too quietly for him to notice. Jenna lifted her head. Her face was wet, her hair a mess, tears still drying on her cheeks. But from an angle he could not see, the corner of her mouth curved. Less than a second. I caught every bit of it. I almost wanted to laugh. It was the same in this life as it had been in the last. Jenna worked in the dark, soft and sweet and untouchable. And Callum, righteous, devoted, completely blind Callum, picked up every knife she left behind and walked it straight into me. Except this time, I was not the one bleeding out on the floor. This time, I was the one still standing. I stood in the ruined hall, the cold serpent energy still lingering in the air like frost on my skin. Callum's accusation hung between us, sharp and accusatory. I didn't rush to defend myself. Instead, I raised my hand and let the silver seat flare. Silver light swept over Jenna, amplifying the dark serpent patterns twisting on her coral bracelet. They projected clearly onto the wall, writhing like living shadows. The exact energy that had provoked Althea.
The servant's gasp. Eleanor's face drained of color. Jenna's expression crumpled as she threw herself into Callum's arms, sobbing violently.
Caleb, I don't know what that is. I really don't! Did Lady Rowish do this on purpose to scare me?
Callum pulled her tighter, his voice rising in fury as he glared at me.
Rowena, enough! You already hurt her tonight, and now you want to humiliate her in front of everyone?
The disbelief hit me hard. Evidence right in front of him, and still he chose her. Lucian stepped to my side, his voice like ice.
Are you blind? Or has your brain rotted too?
You have no right to speak here!
I held Lucian back with a hand on his arm. No need to argue with him. Serpent energy recognizes its own, and so does Althea. Callum, you can keep pretending not to see it, but the formation collapsed tonight because you opened that door yourself. Callum's face stiffened. Jenna cried even harder. I turned away from them, crouching beside Althea and placing my hand on her head. The great white serpent calmed under my touch, lowering her head like a tamed beast. Everyone saw it. The serpents didn't fear me. They feared the Hargroves.
Lucian helped me back to my room. The cut in my palm still seeped silver blood, and the lunar hunt scar on my face burned.
Every use of the covenant reminded me of the price I had paid. My face for this power. Lucian banded the wound with careful hands, his touch gentle, as if afraid to break me.
Don't cut so deep next time.
If I hadn't, this entire estate would have collapsed tonight.
That's not your burden alone to carry.
I looked up at him. He met my eyes steadily, never flinching from the scar, only seeing me. After my rebirth, I had accepted that trading my beauty meant no man would love me again. Others saw fear or disgust first, but Lucien never did. I pulled my hand away, my voice turning cold.
Don't be too good to me. I don't need it.
Whether you need it is your business. Whether I do it is mine.
Footsteps sounded outside. Callum stood in the doorway, his face dark. Seeing Lupian holding my hand made his expression twist with jealousy.
So you have time for your servant to fawn him over you.
I smiled coldly. At least he knows who is bleeding, unlike some people who only held the real culprit while accusing me. Callum's face darkened further.
Tomorrow morning, you're coming with me to the family cemetery.
I need to know why this serpent clings to the Hargroves.
Fine, but Jenna stays behind.
You're meddling too much.
I said nothing. I knew Jenna would come anyway.
Jenna appeared the next day, wrapped in a pale cloak, looking frail as she clung to Callan's side.
Callan, I can't let you go alone. Let me come. I promise I won't cause trouble.
Callum glanced at me, waiting for protest. I stayed silent.
Let her. The closer she gets to the truth, the faster her mask slips.
Jenna's eyes flickered before she looked down. We reached the Hargrove Cemetery, where serpent energy coiled around every grave. My silver sight revealed snake bones pressed beneath each male Hargrove tombstone. This was no simple curse, it was a betrayal.
What do you see?
Your family wasn't cursed by serpents. You used them first, then betrayed them. Jenna suddenly cried out and stumbled, her hand landing precisely on a formation node. Serpent energy erupted. Callum rushed to her.
Jenna!
I saw dark energy flash between her fingers.
In my past life, I thought it was an accident. Now I knew better. Lucien stepped in front of me, and the underground bones recoiled from him, as if terrified. A question stirred in my mind. Who exactly was Lucien? Jenna clung to Callum, claiming her legs had simply given out. He held her protectively, but turned on me in anger.
You knew it was dangerous here. Why didn't you clear it first?
Did you see her step on the node?
Callum paused. Jenna lifted her tear-stripped face.
Lady Rowena, I know you dislike me, but I didn't touch any node. I was just scared.
Callum's gaze softened toward her immediately.
Rowena, enough. Stop pinning everything on her!
I didn't argue. I extracted the serpent energy from her palm and held it suspended in the air, a writhing black thread trying to return to her sleeve. Jenna paled. Still need an explanation? Callum saw it. Everyone did. But after a moment, he muttered.
Maybe the node latched onto her.
I laughed bitterly. In my past life, I thought he was blind. Now I realized he saw. He just refused to admit it. Lucien spoke softly behind me.
He doesn't deserve a single word from you.
His words eased some of the cold weight in my chest. I turned back to the graves. Keep digging. Jenna's desperation to interrupt means there's something important down there. I used silver blood on the tombstone. A fragment of memory rose. Centuries ago, Althea had willingly guarded the Hargroves. shielding them and even giving her white scales as a token. They repaid her by stabbing her with the stolen silver arrow while she slept, turning her into a living lock for the Serpent Gate. She was no monster. She was a betrayed protector. When the vision faded, Callum looked grim. I expected him to ask about Althea. Instead,
If she's the living lock, she can still hold the gate, right?
I turned slowly, anger flaring.
That's all you take from this?
The Hug family cannot fall. I need to know how to save it.
His selfishness drained even my rage. In my past life, my pain, my blood, my life had only ever been tools to him. Jenna squeezed his hand gently.
Callum, you're just worried about the family. Lady Rowena wouldn't understand your burden.
Her voice was soft, but her eyes smiled. Lucian's hand tightened on his sword hilt. Don't rush. Let them dig their own graves deeper. The filthier their words now, the cleaner the reckoning later. Later, Jenna sought me out alone. Her gentle mask dropped completely as she leaned against a cordziller, twisting her coral bracelet.
You must feel so smug right now, making Callum look bad, making everyone doubt me. Enjoying yourself? It's nowhere near as entertaining as you feeding serpents while playing the helpless victim.
She laughed, her eyes turning venomous.
You're much smarter than last time. So you remember too?
Jenna didn't answer directly. She stroked the bracelet.
Whether I remember doesn't matter. Callum will always believe me. You can shove proof in his face, and he'll still make excuses for me.
Her words cut deep, laced with malice.
Look at you. Traded your face for power, and still no one loves you. How pathetic.
You think I still want Callum's love?
Jenna stepped closer, lowering her voice.
Of course you do. Once a woman has been loved, she always craves it back. You're just pretending to be clear-headed now.
She reached toward my scar. Lucian emerged from the shadows and seized her wrist.
Touch her again, and I'll cut off your hand.
Jenna winced in pain, but quickly shifted to a pitiful expression as Callan's footstems approached.
Callum! He's trying to kill me!
I only wanted to apologize to Lady Rowena, but he suddenly grabbed me. I was so scared.
Let her go.
Lucian, release her.
Rowena, control your people. Don't forget, this is the Hargrove estate.
I remember perfectly. That's exactly why it's so filthy here. See that? Every time she touches you, your mark deepens.
What trick did you pull?
Wonderful. She poisons you, and I get blamed. You really are her perfect blade. Lucian stepped beside me.
Let's go. Don't waste time on fools.
This time I didn't disagree.
Late that night, Chester knocked on my door, holding a lantern with perfect servant deference.
Lady Whitmere, the old madam asks if you will enter the hall again tomorrow.
Eleanor, did the serpent send you, did she?
Chester's expression stayed neutral.
You're overthinking.
I sealed the room with silver seals. Only Lucian and I remained with him. Chester finally looked up.
The silver sight lives up to its name.
How many years have you hidden in the Hargroves?
43.
He spoke calmly.
The Hargroves think they can control the Serpent Gate, but those behind it have waited for them to walk into the trap.
I asked about the silver arrow.
You want the sacred relic. The Serpent Court wants it. Callum wants it to survive. Jenna wants it to open the gate. Everyone is waiting for you to act, Lady Whitmore.
Callum, I just saw Chester enter Lady Rowena's room. Are they plotting something?
Rowena, what exactly are you doing behind my back?
Callum immediately accused me of colluding with the Serpent Court through Chester. I didn't deny seeking the arrow. It was my goal. He seized on it, turning everyone against me.
You were never here to save us. You came for Hargrave possessions from the start.
That relic belongs to Whitmore, not Hargrige. Jenna spoke softly.
Callum, I've long felt Lady Rowena's hostility. I didn't dare say it before. I feared you'd think me petty.
Her eyes reddened again. Callum's disgust towards me deepened.
Hand over your silver seals. From now on, any ritual needs my approval.
You want to control my power, to manage the gate.
This is my home! I have the right to know what you're doing.
I summoned a wisp of Althea's white serpent shadow. It coiled around Callum's death mark. He cried out in pain, face paling.
You have the right to know this, for example.
You're still standing only because I allow it.
Jenna stumbled back in fear. Callum stared at me with a mix of rage and newfound terror. Lucian spoke quietly at my side.
She saves you by choice, not obligation.
Remember that.
Eleanor called a family meeting, summoning all Hargroff branches. It was framed as discussing the gate, but clearly meant to force me to submit publicly. Many saw my scarred face for the first time. Whispers spread. How terrifying the scar was. How no wonder Callum preferred Jenna. I heard every word. In my past life, such talk would have crushed me. Now it was just noise. Eleanor sat at the head, voice heavy.
Lady Whitmore, your power is great, but we've seen your emotions are unstable. For the family's safety, the sealing arts cannot remain solely in your hands.
Callum didn't intervene. He sat silently, endorsing the ambush. Jenna added fuel.
I'm only worried Lady Roeth might resent me and take it out on the entire Hargroff family.
All eyes turned to me. I stood and activated the silver sight. Behind every person, shadows of sacrificed women appeared. Maids, adopted daughters, wives offered as tribute. Those who had mocked my scar dropped to their knees in terror.
You wanted to talk safety? Then look at how many lives you've trampled beneath your feet.
Jenna's smile finally shattered. Chaos erupted after the ghosts appeared. Some begged me to withdraw the sight. Others accused Eleanor. She paled and instinctively protected the legacy book. I saw it. The sacrifice ledger is inside the book. Eleanor's hand froze. Callum tried to block me.
Rowena, don't make this uglier.
The ugly one is your family's centuries of blood debt. Jenna clutched her chest, collapsing into a chair.
I can't breathe. Callum, I'm so scared.
Callum moved to help her, but a white serpent shadow blocked him, staring coldly at Jenna. She stopped aggravating her sobs. I approached Eleanor. Give me the ledger. Eleanor forced a smile.
Child, those are old matters. You already died once. Why keep pursuing?
I leaned close. Because I died once. I know exactly what being chosen by you feels like.
Callum watched with fleeting complexity before Jenna's sobs pulled him away again. My cold laugh deepened. He was never worth it. Callum tried a softer approach that evening, coming to my room with a gentler tone.
Roland, we can cooperate. You want the silver arrow? I want the Hargroves to survive. Our goals are clean.
I knew what came next. The same fake concern from my past life.
I know some words hurt you before, but now isn't the time to dwell on it.
Some words? I turned my face so he could see the scar clearly.
You mocked my face, protected Jenna as she harmed me, demanded my seals. And you call it some words?
Callum frowned.
You're too sensitive now.
Lucian entered with medicine and overheard.
She died once because of you all, and now you call her sensitive?
Who do you think you are? Her servant? Guard? Or just the dog she keeps?
Lucian remained calm.
I can be anything she wants. But you're different. How? Even when she bleeds, you only ask why she didn't protect others.
The room fell silent. I looked away, no longer wanting to hear Callan.
Give me the key. Tomorrow we enter the underground chamber.
Callum gritted his teeth and placed the key on the table. The underground chamber lay behind Hargrot Hall. Dust and serpent energy rushed out as the door opened. Whitmore hunting tools, silver blades, short bows, chains, hung on the walls like trophies. My chest tightened. These belonged to my family, displayed as Hargrot spoils. As I approached, the tools hummed in recognition. Several blades tilted toward me. Callum's eyes gleamed with greed.
If these can suppress the gate, why not lend them to the Hargroves first?
After stealing them for centuries, you still want to borrow more?
Jenna followed us in. Seeing the tools respond to me, jealously flashed in her eyes.
Impressive. Too bad it all came at the cost of your face.
Lucian took a loosened silver blade from the wall and placed it in my hand.
They recognize you, not because of your face, but because you are Whitmore.
His words settled warmly in my heart. I gripped the blade. Silver light bloomed. All the tools vibrated in unison. Jenna's expression soured completely. What she hated most wasn't my strength. It was that even scarred, I still had someone standing by my side. Deepest in the chamber hung an old painting, the first Whitmore lunar huntress beside a golden-horned white deer. The deer shielded her from serpents, its antlers wrapped in moonlight. Lucian's face changed when he saw it. He looked away too late.
You've seen this painting?
No.
He answered too quickly. Callum noticed, his expression turning dangerous.
Seems your servant knows quite a lot.
I stepped in front of Lucian. None of your concern. Callum sneered.
Rowena, you'd shield a mere servant from me?
Lucian's eyes chilled. I spoke calmly without turning. He is not a mere servant. Lucian fell silent. My own heart stirred unexpectedly at the words. Jenna watched with a light laugh.
Lady Rowena is so enviable. Face ruined, yet still so protected. How much of that protection is real, I wonder?
At least more than what you stole. Her face darkened. Suddenly, her bracelet glowed. Serpent energy corrupted the tools, turning them against me. Jenna cried out in fake alarm.
Callum, watch out! The tools have gone out of control!
But excitement burned in her eyes. The tools lunged at me, though I heard their silver lament. They didn't want to harm their true owner. Jenna's serpent energy forced them. Callum's first instinct was to shield Jenna.
Rowena! Control them! Don't let them touch Jenna!
I ignored him and summoned the moon silver bow. Moonlight formed the string. I fired arrows, tearing serpent energy from the blades one by one. They fell obediently at my feet. Each shot burned my scar like a fresh blade cut. Pain seared through me. I grit my teeth and kept drawing. Lucian suddenly grabbed my hand.
Enough.
Not yet cleared.
I said enough. You're hurting.
Everyone else fixated on my scar, fearing, hating, using it. Only Lucian cared if it hurt.
This isn't the time for your intimacy. Rowena, continue.
Lucian turned on him.
Shut your mouth.
Callum's face darkened. I released the bowstring, refusing his order for the first time.
The rest can wait until I decide.
Jenna looked furious. She had wanted to exhaust me. She never expected Lucian could make me stop, or that I would choose to for him. I followed Jaina into the underground water chath. She stood on the stone steps before the outer serpent gate, her innocent mask finally debardened.
Do you know where the silver arrow really is?
I remained silent, gripping the hilt of the silver blade, the sound echoing coldly off the walls.
It's not in the chamber. It's buried in Althea's heart. The first Hargroves used it to nail her into the Earth Vein and create this gate.
My fingers tightened painfully. The weight of generations of betrayal pressed down on me. Jenna stepped closer, her voice dripping venom. If you want Whitmore's relic back, you'll have to pull the arrow. But the moment you do, the gate opens.
Everyone will blame you for destroying Hargrove Hall. Callum will hate you. Eleanor will hate you. They'll say you did it because no one could love your scarred face.
The words stung, but not as deeply as they once would have. I met her gaze steadily, the lunar scar on my cheek pulsing with silver light. You still think I care what Callum thinks of me? Jenna's smile faltered for a split second. I continued, my voice low but firm. You're wrong. I didn't come back to prove I'm worthy of love. I came to make sure all of you pay what you owe. Her expression turned ugly. She spat one last barb before leaping deeper into the waterway.
You really think Lucian will keep protecting you? Men are all the same. Once he gets tired of looking at that face, he'll leave too.
I stood there as her footsteps faded, the cold water lapping at my boots. Her words tried to burrow into old wounds, but Lucian's steady presence in my mind pushed them back. I turned and climbed back to the surface, the truth now clear in my heart. The silver arrow rested in Althea's chest. Back above ground, I found Lucian waiting in the shadows of the hall. His quiet strength grounded me as I told him what Jenna had revealed. He listened without interruption, his eyes never leaving mine.
Will you pull it?
I have to, but not recklessly.
I'll use Callum's blood, Jenna's serpent contract, Chester's serpent court mark, and Eleanor's sacrifice ledger to form a new seal.
Lucian studied me carefully, no fear in his gaze, only unwavering resolve.
Then we do it.
A small smile tugged at my lips despite everything.
You won't ask if I'll turn into a monster?
You won't.
How can you be so sure?
He paused, then stepped closer, and gently rewrapped the bandage on my palm.
Because even when you could have let Callum die tonight, you still saved the entire estate.
His words pierced through the armor I had built around my heart. I had hated them all so fiercely, yet I refused to become the destroyer they feared. Lucian saw that in me when no one else did. The scar on my face burned less fiercely in that moment.
Tomorrow we go to Eleanor.
Good.
I lingered in his presence a moment longer, drawing quiet comfort from the way he stood guard beside me, unflinching. Eleanor refused to surrender the sacrifice's ledger. She sat in the main study, cradling her peach blossom tea, her grandmotherly facade finally stripped away to reveal cold calculation.
Rowena, you already know too much. A smart girl knows when to stop.
The memories flooded back. Her smiles as she fed me poison, her indifference as she watched me die. Anger surged through my veins. When you sent me into the Serpent Gate, in my past life, did you also think I should have stopped? Her hand trembled slightly on the teacup.
Do you remember?
I remember everything. Your sweet words, the poisoned tea, how you locked me inside, without a flicker of remorse. I sealed her teacup with a silver seal. The liquid inside turned black, serpent shadows thrashing wildly. Lupian stood behind me, his presence a wall of silent fury. Eleanor's composure cracked.
What do you want?
The ledger. She resisted. I stepped forward and sealed her throat with silver light. Her mouth opened, but no sound emerged.
You lied so many people to their deaths. This mouth of yours deserves rest.
I retrieved the ledger from her hidden compartment. Page after page listed women's names. The final entry was my own. Rowena Whitmore. My fingers clenched until my knuckles whitened. This life, I would cross it out myself.
Callum learned of the stolen ledger quickly. Instead of confronting Mimi directly, he lured Lupian away and trapped him in the old underground chapel beneath Hargrove Hall, an ancient altar etched with serpent arrays designed to suppress lunar hunt blood.
When I arrived, Lucian knelt in the center of the array, covered in wounds, yet his eyes glowed with a faint golden light. Callum stood outside the formation, a silver blade in hand.
Don't come closer, Rowena. One more step and he dies for you.
Eyes alight with vicious excitement.
Lady Rowena, you're so powerful. Choose.
The silver arrow or him?
Lucian looked at me through the pane and shook his head wiltly.
Leave me.
The plea tore at my chest. In my past life, I had told Callum the same thing, only for him to abandon me. I would not repeat his cruelty. Power erupted from my huntress mark. Silver light shattered the serpent array, inch by inch. Callum paled.
You're mad! The Covenant will backlash!
That's not for you to decide.
I rushed into the formation, grabbed Lucian's hand, and dragged him free. His silver gold blood touched my pie palm, and the lingering dark energy recoiled as if burned. Lucian's blood was not red. It shimmered with faint silver gold light. The realization hit me as the serpent Arame's Rhaenys fled from him. Who are you, really? Lucian remained silent for a long moment before answering softly.
I promised to stay by the Whitmore heir's side.
Promised whom? He didn't reply. But Callum had seen the blood. Greed twisted his features.
So he's even more special than you.
She laughed cruelly.
Callum, if we use him as the new living Locke, we won't need Rowena anymore.
Callum didn't deny it. Cold fury settled in my chest.
Touch him, and I will end the Hargrave bloodline tonight.
You care about him that much? So even you can feel fear.
I helped Lucian to his feet, my voice steady despite the storm inside. Yes, I fear. I fear him suffering the same fate I did. Being sacrificed by people like you who treat lives as disposable. Lucian glanced at me, emotion flickering in his eyes. I avoided looking back, afraid my own feelings would spill over. Callum and Jenna united against us. They spread rumors that Lucian's non-human aura was the true cause of the gate's instability. Jenna wept publicly, claiming she saw his golden blood and couldn't sleep from fear. Callum played the responsible family head.
I don't want to hurt anyone, but for the Hargroves, I must uncover what he is.
The hypocrisy made me want to laugh. This was their old game. One crying, the other forced to act. Only now, the knives were aimed elsewhere. I stepped in front of Lucian. Anyone who wants to investigate him goes through me first. Callum's face darkened.
Rowena, you'd abandon the entire Hargrove family's safety for him?
I protected. You don't deserve it.
Lady Rowena, have you forgotten Lucian's just an outsider you picked up? An outsider cleaner than you'll ever be.
Lucian spoke quietly behind me.
You don't have to shield me like this.
I want to. The words surprised even me. We retreated to the forest behind the hall. Serpent energy pursued us to the edge, but dared not enter. Moonlight filtered through the trees as I tended Lucian's wounds. Why do you remember the past life? He was quiet for a long time.
Because when you died, I was there too.
My hand stilled on the bandages.
I was trapped in the formation. I heard you begging him to open the door. I couldn't break free. I could only watch it close.
The memory of that freezing night crashed over me. Not everyone had abandoned me. Someone had tried. My throat tightened.
I always thought if I were stronger, you wouldn't have died.
That wasn't your fault.
But I was still too late.
I looked at him, the urge to embrace him nearly overwhelming. Instead, I whispered, this time, you weren't too late. Lucian met my eyes and smiled faintly for the first time. It was small, but it lit up the darkness around us like moonlight on water. My huntress mark began spiraling out of control. Visions of blood deeds and deaths flooded my silver sight. I saw Eleanor dragged by ghosts. Chester devoured by the Serpent Court. Jenna consumed by her own power. And Callum begging on his knees.
Artis's voice echoed in my mind, commanding me to hunt those who fed the serpents.
I nearly summoned the oath arrow. Lucian seized my shoulders.
Rowena, look at me.
The silver light and blood blurred my vision. Pain tore through the scar on my face.
Move! I need to kill them!
Lucian held firm.
You can take revenge. But don't give yourself to the Covenant.
He cut his own palm and pressed the silver gold blood against my scar. The divine fury retreated. I could breathe again.
You are not the goddess's blade. You are Rowena.
Tears stung my eyes. He had shown me I could hurt, hate, and still remain myself. I closed my eyes.
I won't.
Chester stole the sacrifice ledger, hoping to trade it to the Serpent Court for freedom. We tracked him to an old underground room where he knelt before a black serpent mirror. A pale hand reached out and took the ledger, offering no promise.
Executors have no freedom, only the next order.
Chester protested his 43 years of service. The mirror cracked, and dark energy retaliated,
rotting his brand.
I didn't save him immediately.
Lady Whitmore, save me! I can tell you how to close the gate!
How many have you helped kill?
Let him die.
I stabilized the energy in Chester's body with a silver seal. You won't die yet. You'll watch what you served devour you.
I reclaimed the ledger. The path to the Silver Arrow lay clear. The path to the Silver Arrow clear.
Jenna publicly revealed the arrow's location in Althea's heart. She stood in the meeting hall, crying convincingly.
If we get that arrow, can the Hargroves be saved? Callum, I don't want you to die.
The branches went wild with desperation. Callum pretended to restrain them, but I saw his agent slipping toward the hall depths. I blocked the entrance. Call them back.
Callum stayed silent.
Jenna tried to soften it.
Lady Rowena, why must you think the worst of Callum? He only wants to save his family.
Shut your mouth.
I faced Callum directly.
Do you want to save your family or steal my arrow?
If it can save the Hargroves, it shouldn't belong only to Whitmore.
His true nature stood bare. The man who once wore affection like a mask now showed his greed openly. I descended into the earth vein with Lucian, cross-sold as the stray, and several clansmen forced their way after us. Serpent energy parted before me and recoiled even more from Lucian. At the core, Althea was pinned to the gate, the silver arrow buried in her heart. She lowered her head, exposing the wound, begging for release. I grasped the arrow's hilt. Lucian stepped protectively behind me.
Careful.
Callum pressed a silver blade to Lucian's throat.
Pull the arrow, Rowena, or he dies.
I held the hilt motionless. Blood, silver gold, trickled from Lucian's throat, exciting the gate further. Jenna's eyes lit with greed.
Callum, his blood can replace hers.
Use him as the new lock. Callum didn't deny it.
Choose the arrow or his life. Don't mind me.
The familiar cruelty broke something inside me. Why must everyone I cared for become their leverage? Do you know what disgusts me most about you? Callum frowned. You treat other people's sacrifices as natural rights? I released the arrow and slashed my palm instead, spilling silver blood to summon the debts. Ghosts of sacrificed women rose, their eyes fixed on Callum. This time, judgment fell on the Hargroves. The ghosts surrounded Callum. They whispered their names. Wives, maids, daughters, and my past self. He stumbled back, the blade leaving Lucian's throat. I pulled Lucian behind me. Jenna lunged for the arrow. Serpent energy from the gate seized her instead, merging with her bracelet. Jenna laughed wildly as she began transforming.
Finally my turn.
You knew it wanted your body?
So what? At least I'll drag you all down with me!
She yanked the arrow partially free. Althea screamed. The gate cracked.
Jenna, stop!
Now you're scared? You protected me only because I was useful!
Their mutual betrayal lay exposed. Only I had once believed in their false bond. Lucian took my hand.
Rowena, don't watch them. Do what you must.
I nodded, steeling myself.
The gate's opening caused Hargrove Hall to collapse. Black-railed tents insurged from the ground. Clack Serpent fled, only to be caught by their own ghosts.
Eleanor was dragged before the fireplace, forced to confront the ledger.
Rowena, save me! I was forced! It was all for the family!
That's exactly what you said while watching me die last time. She trembled.
I was wrong!
You're not sorry. You're just afraid to die.
The ghosts pulled her into silver flames. Chester was devoured by his own masters.
I asked Lucian if I seemed cruel.
No. They owed you.
His words erased my final hesitation.
Callum seized the silver arrow and fled toward the main hall to reseal the gate. I chased him to the iron door, the same one from my past life.
Move aside, Rowena, and I'll let you go. We can settle the past later.
The past? You speak so lightly of it.
Jenna screamed for rescue in the distance. Callum barely glanced at her before turning away. He activated the mechanism to crap Lucian and me. Inside, Lucian pushed me aside and shattered the door with explosive silver gold light. A golden-horned white deer phantom appeared behind him. The serpents recoiled in fear. At last, I understood. Lucian was the sacred beast guardian of the Whitmores. Lucian knelt by the broken door, the deer phantom fading. Callan stared in shock.
What are you?
Something far cleaner than you.
The Serpent Court envoy emerged, terrified.
Moon Deer Guardian, you still live.
Lucian looked at me with apology.
I didn't mean to hide it.
We'll settle accounts after we get out.
He smiled. I grasped the silver arrow. The Huntress Covenant fully awakened. Artemis warned of the price.
Use mine.
No.
I'm the Guardian. I should pay for you.
I already died for others once. This life, I pay for my own choices.
The oath arrow formed in cold white light. Jenna, half serpent, charged in hatred.
Why can you still stand? Why do you still have someone protecting you like that?
Because I never gave myself to you.
Lucian shielded me as the deer phantom repelled the energy. Callum begged on his knees.
Roe, save me! I was wrong! In the past life, I had no choice!
You had choices. Every time you chose to hurt me.
I drew the bow. Artemis demanded a span of lifespan. I accepted. Lucian cried out, but I reassured him with a glance. Don't worry. I still need to settle your secret with you. I released the arrow. It pierced Jenna, the gate, the blood contracts, and buried deep into the earth vein. Silver light exploded. The Serpent Court passages collapsed. The gate sealed. Althira's wound healed. She placed a final white scale in my palm, before dissolving into light, finally free. Jenna lay dying, her body rejecting the serpent energy.
I'm not willing. Why did someone like you win?
Because I lost once, and I refuse to lose again.
Her body was consumed, leaving only shattered coral. Callum's death mark vanished, but so did his family's power. He knelt broken in the ruins.
Rowena, save me once more. For our past.
In the past life, you told me to hold the serpents until I died. I left him there, to face his fate alone.
As the hall fully collapsed, Callum chased after me one last time, desperate.
Roish, I was deceived by Jenna. Now I see clearly!
You weren't deceived. You chose convenient lies every single time.
Lucian stepped forward, blocking Callum's view of me.
Don't look at her. You have no right.
Callum froze. I allowed the protection, embracing it fully this time. At dawn, Hargrove Hall sank completely into ruin. I stood at a distance, watching the last serpent stench blow away on the wind. My huntress mark and scar remained, but so did my resolve. Lucian stood beside me.
Does it still hurt?
Why do you always ask that?
Because you always pretend it doesn't.
I laughed genuinely for the first time in ages. Lucian, how long have you guarded the Whitmans?
Long enough that I feared I'd always arrive too late.
This time you didn't.
Rowena, I never loved your face.
His gaze held mine, never wavering to the scar.
I love that you crawled back from hell to claim your debts, and still chose to save the innocent.
I took his hand willingly. Then don't be late again.
I won't.
We walked away from the ruins together into the morning light. This time, I didn't look back.